Alrighty, hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cryptic Coil. I'm gonna do another book haul today because it's gonna be a little bit before I'm ready to do any reviews, but I am reading a couple of books this month for Valentine's Day, and so I'm gonna focus on some like romantic and Valentine's Day centered horror. But for now, I'm just gonna uh, do another book haul, CD haul, and DVD haul just to generate some content for my channel. But let's go ahead and jump into the book haul first. Okay, so real quick, I picked up a ton of Goosebumps books, and let me just go ahead and show you what I found from the Goosebumps. Okay, so I found a reprint of Monster Blood. This is pretty cool. I don't think I already have this reprint. And then I found a different reprint of Monster Blood 2. I think that these are pretty cool. Happy to have them in my collection. I found a reprint of Night of the Living Dummy, and again, I'm not sure if I already have it. I have so much stuff, I'm losing track of what I do and don't have. I found this original printing of The Ghost Next Door, and I've had a few copies of these, and none of them were in very good condition. This is the I have a reprint that's in like near mint condition, but this one is the best that I found so far. The cover is scaring me. I'm afraid that the front cover could easily be torn off, and then someone who used to own it, some girl wrote her name in it. But other than that, I mean, it's in okay condition. So I'm happy to have this. Then I found two Goosebumps series 2000 books. So let me see, what numbers are they? Okay, so I found number 5, Invasion of the Body Squeezers Part 2. This is an interesting looking cover. I'm pretty sure that I have part 1. I should have checked before I started doing the video, but I'm pretty sure I have part 1, and now I have part 2, which I really don't think that I already have because this does not ring a bell. Then I have book number 8 in the series 2000, Fright Camp, and that is a great looking cover. It's like a menacing looking raccoon coming out of a tin trash can with some neon green on the cover. I mean, that looks like an 80s metal cover. I love it. All right. So that's it for like R.L. Stine and Goosebumps. But I found. Oh, no, 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 no. I have one more R.L. Stine. Oh, actually, two more R.L. Steins. My bad. So I have this one, R.L. Stein's Haunted Lighthouse, and this is pretty cool. This thing is like in mint condition. There's a little bit of artwork on the inside. It's never been read because the cover and the pages offer resistance when I try to open it. But this is pretty cool. Let's see, what year is this from? It's from 2003. First printing March 2003. I've never seen this, never heard of it. Let's go ahead and read the summary on back and stuff. First of all, look at that cover. I mean, that is a great looking cover. I mean, there's a stormy sky, clouds, lightning. There's this light tower with the shape of like a skull, like a hooded skull, like the Grim Reaper or something. And then this, Victorian style house near the watchtower. I mean, great looking cover. There's no tagline on the front, but it does read, based on the thrilling 4D attraction at SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. Now let's go ahead and read the summary on back. The lighthouse stretched up to the clouds. Its light cut through the rain, sending bright stripes through the black sky. Wait in the lighthouse. Wait for me there, father said. I shall return with your mother. Those were the last words I ever heard him say. I mean, that's pretty dope. I mean, that sounds pretty cool. All right. The other R.L. Stein that I have, it's like a Goosebumps graphic novel. I put it on the shelf where I have all my comic book graphic novels and stuff. The artwork was all black and white, which kind of disappointed me. Like The Crow, that used to be a comic book, and it was in black and white, and it was fine for that because it was, mature, and it gave it kind of a vintage noir style. But Goosebumps isn't the right audience for that. I really wish the art would have been in color, but it's over there on the shelf, and I'm not going to get up. Then I found a duplicate copy of Aliens in the Sky by Christopher Pike. This is the fourth book in the Spooksville series. My Spooksville collection has come along. I have over half, like well over half the books in that series. The later ones are just really hard to come by because they're so expensive. But I have a backup copy of Aliens in the Sky now, so that's cool. Sticking with middle grade, so a while back I had picked up this book, The Last Laugh, by K.R. Alexander, but the cover's a little bit scratched up. There's a little teeny tiny bit of damage on the spine. The corner on the back is kind of creased. It's not bad. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. I mean, I would have been content with just this one, but I found another copy that's like in mint condition, so I went ahead and picked it up. So let's see. Let's just stick with that author for now. Okay, so I found a book that I didn't already have because I have a lot of this author's books now. Haven't read a single one of them. I know that Shady Side Library just read the new one. I think it's called Identity, and he posted about it on Instagram today. He might make a video about it. I'm not sure, but if he does, please be sure to check that out. But found another one by K.R. Alexander, and it's called Vacancy. And this has some like old school Hitchcockian vibes. Let's go ahead and read the tagline on the front. Once you check in, you can never check out. Go ahead and look at that cover again. I mean, pretty eerie looking cover. Book is in excellent condition. I'm curious to see what year this was published. This was a 2021, so 4 years old. Not bad. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis on back. This hotel isn't just haunted, it's hungry. When Jasmine moves to Gold River after her mother's death, she finds herself powerfully drawn to the Carlisle, an abandoned hotel on the edge of town. It appears in her nightmares and calls to her during the day. It's a local tradition in Gold River for kids to try to stay a night in the Carlisle without being scared away. When Jasmine hears about this, she convinces her friends to join her. How hard can it be to stay up all night in an abandoned old building? Only the building isn't abandoned. There are plenty of people staying there, dead people. And once you walk into the hotel, they will do everything possible to stop you from checking out. Okay, so, it's got some Eagles Hotel California kind of vibes. I dig it. All right. Where's that one that I was looking? Oh, okay. All right. So I found another book from this author, Lois Ruby. So she's written, for the Hauntings series published by Scholastic. So like she has the Doll Graveyard and the Secret Grave, and I found these a long time ago and featured them on a book haul from eons back. But I found another book from her, and it's not published by Scholastic. It's published by some publishing company called Starscape. I've never heard of them. But this one is called The Secret of Laurel Oaks. And I love the cover. I love these colors on the cover. I mean, they look sick. I love the, distant silhouette of a girl in the graveyard. What's she doing? Dancing? Is she dancing in the graveyard? It's kind of disrespectful, kind of weird. But there's no tagline on the front, there's just a description, and it reads a chilling ghost story based on one of the most haunted places in America. And let's go ahead and read the summary on back. Lila. When 13-year-old Lila and her family visit Laurel Oaks Plantation in Louisiana, her parents and brothers scoff at the claim that the house is haunted. Lila isn't so ready to dismiss the idea. Ever since her friend Roberto died, she's been hearing his voice in the middle of the night. But there are no such things as ghosts, are there? Maybe here at Laurel Oaks, Lila will find out for sure. Daphne. Daphne was once alive, long ago. She was a house slave to Judge Nethercott at Laurel Oaks Plantation. She met her end in the wintry waters of the Mississippi when she was accused of poisoning her master's wife and two little girls. For 2 centuries, Daphne has been waiting for the one who can discover the truth and set her spirit free. Could Lila be the one? Well, I mean that sounds pretty cool. That sounds really interesting. You know, a restless spirit who has to interact with the living in order to cross over to the other side. I mean, that storyline is always compelling. This one sounds like it could be pretty good. So that's another one from Lois Ruby to add to my collection. Very cool. All right. Sticking to this theme, I found a few more that are published by Scholastic, and they're kind of modern horror, kind of like these Lois Rubies and these K.R. Alexanders. This is one called City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab. Never heard of them, but apparently they're a #1 New York Times bestselling author. All right, so that's what the cover looks like. The cover's okay. I mean, it's okay. These modern book covers just don't hit the same as, like, the ones from like the 80s and 90s and, maybe early 2000s. But, it's a good looking cover. I like the use of black and white. I like the way they made this, these castles look. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis and the tagline. So the tagline reads, "A haunted girl, an adventure like no other." And the synopsis on the back reads, "Ever since Cass almost drowned." Okay, she did drown, but she doesn't like to think about it. She can pull back the veil that separates the living from the dead and enter the world of spirits. Her best friend is even a ghost. Things get even stranger when Cass's parents start hosting a TV show about the world's most haunted places. The family heads off to Edinburgh, Scotland, where graveyards, castles, and secret passageways teem with restless phantoms. And when Cass meets a girl who shares her gift, she realizes how much she still has to learn about the veil and herself. And she'll have to learn fast. The city of ghosts is more dangerous than she ever imagined. I mean, that sounds interesting. Sounds good. I mean, New York Times #1 bestseller. This book is from 2018. Okay, so it's about 7 years old. It's going on a decade. So somewhere out there, there's a teenager who remembers their early childhood, and this book was probably a part of it. So that's pretty cool. All right. Then I found this one that I've never heard of, and it's by Edward Blore. His last name is almost Blood. Very cool. Blood would be a cool last name. Anyway, the book is called Story Time, and it's got this like little devil on the cover. Very simple cover, but very effective. The use of red and very interesting. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis on back. Welcome to the Whitaker Magnet School, where standardized testing truly is the work of the devil. George and Kate are promised the finest education when they transfer to the Whitaker Magnet School. It boasts the highest test scores in the nation. But at what price? Their new school's curriculum is focused on beating standardized tests. Classes are held in dreary, windowless rooms, and students are force-fed nauseous protein shakes to improve their test performance. Worst of all, there seems to be a demon loose in the building, one whose murderous work has only just begun. A bitterly funny a bitterly funny satire about the state of modern education from the author of Tangerine and Crusader. Never heard of those books. It looks like this book is from the year 2004. And this sounds like super good. Okay, so it was copyrighted in 2004, but this is a first scholastic printing from September of 2005. This sounds really good because I really, really, really hate the public education system. I really hate it. I had a lot of bad experiences growing up and going through school, and I just always believed that school didn't have to be so miserable. And I honestly think that teachers should have cared more about the students than their grades. And so this sounds like it's something right up my alley. All right, I have one more scholastic printing for you. And this one is called Bad Girls Don't Die by Katie Allender. Katie Allender. Okay, and that's an interesting looking cover. There's a girl in kind of an old timey dress sitting on the floor with her back against the wall in front of a window, and she's covering herself with the curtain. I don't know if you can see that. That's very interesting looking. Bad Girls Don't Die. Interesting title, too. No tagline on the front. Let's go ahead and read the summary on back. Alexis thought she led a typically dysfunctional high school existence. Dysfunctional like her parents' marriage, her dull, crazy 13-year-old sister Casey, and even her own antisocial, anti-cheerleader attitude. When a family fight results in some tearful sisterly bonding, Alexis realizes that her life is creeping from dysfunction into danger. Casey is acting stranger than ever. Her blue eyes go green sometimes. She uses old-fashioned language, and she even loses track of chunks of time, claiming to know nothing about her strange behavior. Their old house is changing too. Doors open and close by themselves. Water boils on the unlit stove, and an unplugged air conditioner turns the house cold enough to see their breath in. Alexis wants to think that it's all in her head, but soon what she liked to think of as silly parlor tricks are becoming life-threatening to her family, and to her budding relationship with the class vice president. Alexis knows she's the only person who can stop Casey, but what if that green-eyed girl isn't even Casey anymore? That sounds super interesting. I mean, this really does. Wow. Here's a receipt. It was purchased at a Scholastic Book Fair on May 11th of 2017. Well, and I'm not gonna. That does not sound like a real name. I'm not going to read the last name because I don't want anyone to look this person up on social media, but I will share the first name. The first name is Juniper, and the last name is interesting too. You don't meet that many junipers. All right, this is a first Scholastic printing from January of 2010. So 15 years old. January of 2010. Yeah, so it's over 15 years old now. So, I mean, this book is, old enough to be considered old school. So, today's actually my birthday. I just turned 39. And it's just amazing. It's like, wow, how old am I now? How old am I getting? That something like this that's feels new school to me is now considered old school to like someone from a younger generation. It's just wild. All right. Um I have this, okay, it's called The Wolves of Willoughby Chase by Joan Aiken, and this is a Del Yearling book. I really like finding these Del Yearling books. My collection of these is getting, a little bit bigger. I'm happy with that. And I like this cover. It's got a very classic kind of style to it. I think it looks very elegant. I like the use of the black, white, and red. It's almost vampiresque, but it's called The Wolves of Willoughby Chase by Joan Aiken, and I know I have other books by Joan Aiken. I just can't think of what they are, but I know I've heard of this author. I know that this is an author that I've never read, but I do own some of their works. I'm assuming Joan Aiken is a woman, so I'm pretty sure I own some of her other works. But let's go ahead and read the summary on back. Wicked wolves without a grim governess within threaten Bonnie and her cousin Sylvia when Bonnie's parents leave Willoughby Chase for a sea voyage. Left in the care of the cruel Miss Slycarp, the girls can hardly believe what is happening to their lovely, once happy home. The servants are dismissed, the furniture is sold, and, dressed in rags, Bonnie and Sylvia are sent to a prison-like orphan school. It seems as if the endless hours of drudgery will never cease. With the help of Simon, the goose boy, and his flock, they escape. But where will they go, and how will they ever get Willoughby Chase free from the clutches of the evil Miss Slycarp? Huh. That sounds kind of interesting. It sounds to me like it's a retelling of A Little Princess, in a way. I mean, interesting. Okay, and then this one's cool. So I found another Betty Wren Wright book, but in hardback, and it's an ex-library copy. It used to belong to a public library here in town, but it's in excellent condition. According, there's no library card, but I can't really find any evidence that this book has ever been checked out. It's in just excellent condition, except for some of the library stamps. But this is The Moonlight Man by Betty Wren Wright. A while back, I found like a mint copy of this in paperback, and I think it's really cool that I own the hardback now. All right. As far as books go, I think I got two more for you. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to my one and only young adult. Okay, and this one is called Mad Mad Monday by Herma Silverstein. And the tagline on the front reads, "There's never been a ghost like Mad Mad Monday." And that's the title of the book, Mad Mad Monday. And so here's the cover. Okay, I mean, that looks very 80s. I would even guess like mid 80s. I don't even think early 90s. Not 100% sure. Just for fun, let's go ahead and okay, it was copyrighted in 1988. The cover art was copyrighted in 1989, and the This is a first Archway paperback printing from February of 1989. So this book is 3 years to the month younger than me. So a 36-year-old book, and it's in like mint condition. I mean, a young adult paperback in this kind of condition, 36 years old. Look at the edges of the pages have yellowed, and that's like it. Like no bent corners, no damage to the spine, no damage to the back. I don't have the heart to read this. Let's go ahead and read the summary on back. O spirits of love, hear my plea. Make Stormy Kincaid fall in love with me. Graveyards at midnight aren't really my thing, but I figured it was worth one spooky spell to make Stormy Kincaid crazy about me. I had no intention of conjuring up a ghost, really, but suddenly there was Monday, a hunk of a teenage ghost who'd been dead for 30 years. Monday was glad I'd botched the spell, since he had a mission of his own to get back at his girlfriend for not mourning when he died. Maybe I'd lost my sanity, but I agreed to help. After all, Monday wasn't a typical ghost. He was into rock and roll, not scaring people, and he was extremely easy on the eyes, even if mine were the only ones that could see him. In fact, he could almost make me forget about Stormy. But what's the sense of falling for a ghost, especially one who has to go back there in just 2 weeks? That sounds pretty cool. Okay, that sounds like a good, interesting read. Um, Very 80s, man. Okay, she refers to this guy as a hunk. Okay, that word went away. All right, I'm old enough to remember, the late 80s, early 90s. And I remember when, teenage girls would describe a guy that they found attractive as a hunk. Funny story. In eighth grade, it was like 1999. And I took this class that was kind of similar to home economics, but it wasn't called that, but it was pretty similar. And our teacher showed us a video called Dating in the 90s. And so we watched it, and it was like an educational video. And it was like, how teenage girls should react if a guy that they were dating wanted to go too far with them, and, how, a teenage boy can better conduct himself as a gentleman while on a date with a young lady, that kind of thing. And the people in this video, they did not look 90s at all. And one of the teenage girls was talking to her friend on a landline phone, and I mean, cell phones weren't quite ubiquitous just yet, but she referred to the guy that she was dating as a total hunk. And we were just laughing in the class, and we were like, Miss Jones, whatever her name was, we were like, what year was this made? It's called Dating in the 90s. So someone went and grabbed the VHS case, and they were like, it was copyrighted in 1990. Like the 90s hadn't even started. How do they know what dating in the 90s is going to look like? Because we were watching it in 1999, and hunk was this outdated term that no girl was using anymore. It was just hilarious. Whenever I hear like the word hunk, I think of like Saved by the Bell or something. I mean, I don't know. This is cool. I'm really glad to add it to my collection. I just don't have the heart to read it because it's in mint condition. All right, one more book for you. Okay, sorry about that story. I hope you got some amusement out of it. But I picked this one up for nostalgic reasons. It's called The House of the Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne, author of The Scarlet Letter. I had this book when I was in fourth grade. It's got the $2 for $1 Walmart sticker. My mother bought this for me from Walmart because I wanted it, because I liked the way the cover looked. And then I loaned it to my aunt, and she lost it, and I never got it back. And I found this in like mint condition. So I'm super happy about that. That's a really good nostalgic find. All right, let me take a sip of my coffee. Check out this coffee mug. I hardly ever use this one, but it's a witch, and her broomstick is the handle. I found this at a thrift store years ago. It's the kind of thrift store where you just find whatever they have in a bin and then you pay by weight. Back then I think it was only like 60 cents a pound. I think now it's like $1 a pound. But yeah, I mean that's a pretty cool coffee mug. It's not microwave safe or dishwasher safe. It's not microwave safe. I know that. No, hand wash only too. All right, so let's move on to some of my DVDs. All right, so I always wanted to see this movie. I wanted to go see it when it was in theaters, but I didn't. It's called Vampire Academy by the author Rochelle Mead. Now I have it on DVD, so I have no excuse not to watch it finally. I picked up this one by or starring Ralph Macchio, and it's called Crossroads, and it's basically a retelling of Faust. But it's about guitars, so it's pretty cool. I've seen this. I haven't seen this movie since I was like 24, 25, so it's been like 15, 16 years. Gosh, I can't believe I'm so old that when I was 25, it was like 15, 16 years ago. Jeez, man, where does the time go? Where? All right. Then I found this one, and this one looks dope. Okay, it stars Chuck Norris, and it's called Hellbound. Okay, look at Chuck Norris on the cover with a gun and like all this inferno in the background. Like that is a metal looking cover, and the title Hellbound. This movie has got to be like one of the most metal movies ever. All right, now the synopsis or the tagline on the front reads, "Mess with this Chicago cop, and there's hell to pay." All right, let's see what it's about. Two tough Chicago cops take on the eternal forces of evil. To Chicago undercover policemen Shatter and Jackson, everything from petty theft to murder, one is as common as ham and eggs, but nothing could prepare them for a force spawned by hell itself. Excitement comes on strong when Chuck Norris plays Shatter in the eerie supernatural thriller Hellbound. A murder investigation whisks Shatter and sidekick Johnson, Calvin Levels, to the Holy Land's windswept reaches. There they discover it's more than a murder case that hangs in the balance. It's the fate of the world. Human meddling has restored a powerful satanic messenger to life. Now, all that stands in the way of the creature's plan for dominance is a mysterious blood right and two never say die cops. And it's from 1993. Okay, this sounds dope. Okay, I cannot wait to watch this. It's got Chuck Norris. All right. Um, then I found this. This is the Puppet Master collection, and it's 9 movies. I mean, I've never seen Puppet Master. I know about it. I thought there was like maybe 3, 4 in the series, but no, there's 9. At least there was only 9 in 2012 when this DVD was printed, or when this DVD was manufactured. Yeah. All right, then so if you've seen any of my recent hauls, I think you know that I finally have Evil Dead 1 and 2, and I'm pretty sure I have Army of Darkness as well. But I just found the Evil Dead remake, recently, so now I have this to my collection, which is pretty cool. Then I found this on DVD, Beetlejuice the cartoon season 1. I remember watching this in like kindergarten and first grade. I remember I used to love this cartoon so much. Uh, and I remember I had these like religious babysitters. I was babysat by this like religious family back then, and they didn't like Beetlejuice because they thought like he was a product of the devil or something. Nice family, I mean, but you know that's kind of a wild thing to, I mean, to me. Okay, but you know, so I think I got three more for you. Okay, so I don't know if I've shown this one off in a recent book haul, but I feel like I've had this for a few weeks now. I just wanted to show you just in case. So this is a well, actually, hold up. All right, so there's this you know, company called Masters of Horror, and they release, you know, these horror movies, and I've shown you guys a few of them in some of my recent haul videos, but this one is called Pick Me Up, and I think that these movies are for people to kind of get their foot into the film industry. I'll show you this one first. Okay, it's called Pick Me Up, and you can see a hitchhiker trying to hitch a ride from this trucker. And it's from Larry Cohen, the director of It's Alive and Q, the Winged Serpent. I haven't heard of those movies, but I got this from my buddy. My buddy owns a pawn shop, and it's actually really cool to be, you know, so close to someone who owns a pawn shop because he hooks me up with super cool discounts. Like I bought a really great guitar from him and he was wanting $500 for it, but for me, he gave it to me for 400, and he he had this in stock at his shop, and I wanted it, and he was like, just go ahead and take it. So he gave it to me for free, you know, it's cool. Well, anyway, uh, here's the synopsis on back. All right. On a desolate stretch of mountain road, two urban myths collide in one night of chilling carnage. Wheeler, Michael Moriarty of Law and Order and The Stuff, is a friendly truck driver who enjoys slaughtering hitchhikers. Walker, Warren Cole, is a charming hitchhiker who prefers to butcher anyone who gives him a ride. Caught in the dueling psychos' depraved game of cat and mouse, Stacia, Feruza Balk of The Craft and American History X, must find a way to outwit Wheeler and Walker before it's too late, but is the most horrific twist of all yet to come. Okay, so I bought this movie because of Feruza Balk. I really feel like Feruza Balk is one of the most underrated actresses ever. She was terrific in The Craft. She was terrific in American History X. She was terrific in The Waterboy. In The Waterboy with Adam Sandler as Vicky Valancourt. And she was terrific in the American Satan spin-off TV show Paradise City. I just love that actress. She's just always a pleasure to watch. Oh, she played in another movie about these greasers from the 50s called Deuces Wild. Yeah. Anyway, I read the back, and when it says, but is the most horrific twist of all yet to come, I think that Feruza Balk is probably gonna be like, you know, the killer, and she's gonna get the best of the hitchhiker and the trucker. These movies are typically not very good. They're typically not very well written, but you know, sometimes they're a little bit. Sometimes they can be fun. All right. Then I found this one, and it's called Jennifer, and it's from the director of Suspiria and Opera. Okay, and it's got a really gnarly looking cover. I don't know if that's like her face or if she's wearing like a leather face skin mask. But let's go ahead and read the synopsis on back of this one. Steven Weber of The Shining and The Stand and Desperation stars as Frank Spivey, a detective who rescues a strange young girl, Carrie Ann Fleming, with a horribly disfigured face and lusciously ripe body from a deranged killer. But when Spivey takes responsibility for the mentality-challenged orphan, she reveals herself to be a creature of untold carnal pleasures and unspeakable violent depravities that may lead him straight to hell. She is seductress, psychopath, and succubus all in one, and her name is Jennifer. The legendary Dario Argento directs this jaw-dropper that features a haunting score by Claudio Simonetti of Goblin, Dawn of the Dead, and Tenab. Okay, this one sounds like it's probably going to be pretty good. I mean, if it's directed by Dario Argento, it sounds like it's pretty good, and the synopsis just sounds compelling. Uh, it's a story about like a succubus, with a dope body. I mean, I'm down to watch. All right. Then I found this one, and this is like these movies, like these masters of horror. And there's 4 in one collection. There's Lake Dead, Unrest, Crazy Eights, and Wicked Little Things. So I already have a Wicked Little Things. Wicked Little Things has Scout Taylor Compton from the she's the one that played Laurie Strode in Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, and she plays in this one called Wicked Little Things, and it's got like these undead creepy children. I remember thinking that one was okay. Back in the day, I kind of had a crush on what's her name, Scout Taylor Compton. Not really into her all that much now, but she used to she used to date Andy Biersack from Black Veil Brides too. But this one has 4 of these movies, and the synopses are really short, so I'll just go ahead and read them. Lake Dead is about or the synopsis for Lake Dead reads: hoping to collect an inheritance from a long-lost grandfather, 3 beautiful sisters travel to his old home, only to discover a psychotic family and a terror worse than death. Okay, sounds interesting. Then Unrest, the synopsis reads: a medical student must discover the truth behind a cadaver before its angered spirit can wreak further vengeance on those who dared to disturb the body. Okay, I mean, that sounds pretty cool. Crazy Eights, the synopsis reads: 6 people are united for a journey through their long-abandoned childhood home, a home with a terrible secret and a mysterious dead girl who will lead them to their strange fates. That one sounds pretty good. And then Wicked Little Things. The synopsis reads: a widow and her 2 daughters move to the remote mountain home she inherited from her late husband's family, unaware that it's situated near a mine with a deadly past. Oh yeah, all these like children were used in the coal mines and they died and their like spirits were like restless. I remember now. Okay. So that's almost it. Okay, and I don't remember if I showed you guys this, but I feel like I've had this for a few weeks as well, and it's called the Midnight Horror Collection. And it's got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 4 movies. Okay, it's got The Craving, Shattered, Hell's Highway, and Feeding Grounds. And I'll go ahead and read the synopsis for these, and because the video is almost over. The synopsis for The Craving reads: on a road trip across the country, a group of college friends become stranded in the desert. Miles from anywhere and with limited supplies, they discover that when the sun goes down, a deadly killer comes out, something that will go into the night quietly or without a meal. The group must battle the creature for their lives in a desolate, harsh, and that few have survived. The group must battle the creature for their lives in a desolate, harsh land that few have survived. Okay. Uh, there's like a smudge on the back, and it made the word land look like and. So, okay. All right. The synopsis for Sheltered reads, okay, and the craving sounds good. I wonder if it's a vampire or if it's like a werewolf. Sheltered reads, on the eve of a massive storm, Joey, an awkward but straight laced bartender, offers a group of vacationers refuge at his house. As the storm wreaks havoc outside, the group slowly discovers why they've been invited to the house, just how disturbed their host is, and that they'll have to fight a crazed killer if they're to see the light of dawn. Sheltered. It kind of sounds like the plot for I Know What You Did Last Summer 2, in a way. All right, Hell's Highway. The synopsis reads, a road trip for four college friends turns into a twisted, bloody nightmare when they pick up Lucinda, a hot young hitchhiker who lusts for the kill. After she terrorizes them, the group kills her. But around the next bend, and every bend, she appears like a mirage, ready to slaughter again. Dope. Okay, Hell's Highway sounds like the coolest one so far, but it's totally reminiscent of, just based on that synopsis, it's totally reminiscent of this sorry, let me this episode of The Twilight Zone that was about a hitchhiker. Like, this actress was or she was driving from New York City to LA, and on her road trip she keeps seeing the same hitchhiker over and over and over again. That was one of my favorite episodes of The Twilight Zone, and Hell's Highway sounds like it's just the same story. But I'm really curious to see what they do with that story in this movie. So that's something I want to watch soon. Whoa, she's hot and she has a chainsaw. I don't know if you can see that, but pretty cool. All right. All right. Now, lastly, let's go ahead and check out some of these CDs. You might have seen some of them, but I'm just really amazed that I've been finding CDs from, like, my favorite genres of metal, like at thrift stores lately. Okay, just recently, just this weekend, I found Nightwish's. This was kind of a greatest hits best of compilation, and it's called Highest Hopes, the best of Nightwish. And I never had this one. I never bought it because at the time when this came out, I already had all their studio albums, so I didn't need this. And I think I had my first MP3 player at that time, so I had all the songs downloaded to MP3 on an MP3 player. It wasn't an iPod. It was a Creative Zen Touch. That's what I had. But yeah, I found this at a thrift store in mint condition, and I was just like, you know what? I'll buy it for my Nightwish CD collection. Very, very cool. I also own a couple of Nightwish DVDs too. I'm trying to see if... Nah, it's not Highest Hopes. But this is like a best of, but only from the Tarja era. None of the Annette or Floor songs were on this because Annette and Tarja hadn't joined the band yet, because this came out in 2006. And I don't think that Nightwish hired Annette until like 2006. So that was cool. Then there's kind of a gothic metal band called Ellis, and I found a few of their CDs. How many of their CDs do I? Yeah, they were called Ellis, and I think that I might have shown these off already, maybe. But I like this band a lot, and they've kind of disappeared, as far as I know. But I remember in my early to mid 20s, I was really into them, and this was like my favorite genre at the time. Gothic metal is a genre that oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes had a male singer who would do the death metal growls and a female singer who would do the beautiful operatic soprano vocals. And they called that vocal style the Beauty and the Beast vocals. In metalcore, when they have like a clean singer and a harsh vocalist, they call it good cop, bad cop vocals. But 20 years before that, there was a genre called gothic metal where they had Beauty and the Beast vocals. And then the music is oftentimes inspired by like doom metal, and it's a very doom metal, and it's very gothic. So sometimes you might hear organs and classical instruments like violins and cellos, but it's metal. So and Ellis, they were a really good band in that genre. And so it's just crazy that I found some of their CDs at thrift stores here in town. Just wild. In the same vein, there's this. Okay, well, hang on. This isn't the only one that I found. I found other Liv Christine CDs. So this one is called Vervain, I guess. And Liv Christine, like she is my teenage years. Like when I first got into like metal, like when I was 15, 16, and I found out about all these, underground subgenres that didn't get any MTV or radio play, and I found out about gothic metal, and I was just fell in love with that genre. She was the lead singer of a band called Theater of Tragedy, and Theater of Tragedy could easily have been the poster children for the genre of gothic metal. But then she left that band because of musical differences, and when she was with Theater of Tragedy, they toured Europe with a German death metal band called Atrocity, and she ended up falling in love and getting caught up in a romance with the frontman of Atrocity. And so when she left Theater of Tragedy, her husband just said, "You know what? Join my band. We'll change the name and we'll play the kind of music that you want to do." And so they started a new gothic metal band called Leaves Eyes. And then they got divorced, and then they kicked her out of the band, and then they hired another female singer, and I've never listened to them since. Nothing against the new female singer, but it's just like, that was Liv's band. Like, you can't do that. It was a divisive thing among the fans at the time. But anyway, Liv Christine did some solo stuff, and I remember checking it out on MySpace back in the day, and I wanted to like it, but I remember the production value was just so god awful. It was distracting. Um, but it's been nearly 20 years. I'm willing to give it a chance. Well, this isn't the only Liv Christine CD that I've picked up lately from thrift stores, but even if I don't like the music, I'm glad that I have the CD just because like she was just such a huge part of my teenage years. I got to see her live once when she played with Leaves Eyes, and I was in the front row, like, throwing my horns in the air, and she grabbed my hand and she kissed my hand and left a lipstick print on it. And there's a photo of it somewhere. I don't have it, but yeah, very cool. Well, anyway, Liv Christine has a younger sister who plays in this band called Midnight Soul. And that's like, I forget what language. Is it like, is it German? Is it Dutch? And it means midnight sun. But I found two of their CDs at a thrift store too. Then I found, oh, here's another Liv Christine CD. Okay, here it is. All right, Enter My Religion. What year did this come out? 2006. I wonder if this is the one I thought the production value was just god awful on MySpace. And maybe it wasn't the album, maybe it was just the quality that got uploaded to MySpace. I don't even know, but I look forward to checking these albums out. But then I found this album by Suicidal Tendencies called Suicidal for Life. And so that's pretty cool. Can't wait to, sink my teeth into this album, Suicidal Tendencies. Then I found this album from an 80s hair metal band called Firehouse. And I like to think of them as like the 80s hair metal NSYNC because they have a song called All She Wrote where the chorus is bye bye baby bye bye. I know I can't sing worth a crap, but NSYNC has bye bye bye. Well, before NSYNC came along, there was Firehouse, and they had a chorus just like that. NSYNC ripped Firehouse off. I like NSYNC, but if I had to choose between them and Firehouse, I'm taking Firehouse. 80s metal for life. All right, and then the last CD that I have for you guys is it's like this best of LA Guns, but it's like extended versions. LA Guns were one of those 80s hair metal bands that they were like the little engine that could. Everybody had played with the LA Guns. Everybody. Axl Rose was in them, and everybody who joined the LA Guns, they ended up leaving the LA Guns to go join another 80s hair metal band, and they all made it. Like, everyone that left the LA Guns who joined another hair metal band, their new band got bigger than the LA Guns ever did. They were like, they were cursed, but yet they were a blessing to everybody that they touched. Everybody that they ever crossed paths with, they blessed, but they themselves were cursed. Very, very cool. And I found this at a thrift store, and I'm very happy. I kind of only know two songs from this band. I only know Never Enough and Ballad of Jane. Ballad of Jane is kind of dark because they found the body of a young woman who was apparently an aspiring actress on the side of the road, but they never identified her. Like, they never found out who she was or what her name was. She had like no identification on her, which makes her body what they call a Jane Doe. So, and they wrote a song about it, and that's why it's called the Ballad of Jane. So, yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this one. Wow, can't believe I've been filming this for an hour. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had fun filming this, and I look forward to putting out a few reviews shortly. But thank you guys for watching. Horns up and peace out.